welcome back. It's Shelby, and with Christmas just around the corner, I figured today was a great day to do a video on how to make big, beautiful bows for wrapping your presents. So I have some ribbon. All of the ribbon I'm using is wire ribbon, which means that there's wire running through the edges of it. I have some pipe cleaners and I have scissors, and that's really everything you're gonna need to create these beautiful bows to wrap your presents with, or to put on garland, put on tree, to put on wreaths, whatever you want to do with them. They're going to be cool. So yeah, I figured I would show you how to make a couple different varieties. And a lot of things on the market are, you can buy like tools to help you make them, or like, you know, little widgets to like wind the ribbon around. They're also really easy to make by hand, so that's what we're doing today. If you like the video, let me know by hitting that thumbs up. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Let's get going. So for the first bow, you're actually going to want to leave your ribbon on the spool. So just kind of, my end's a little wonky, so I'm going to go in a little bit, and then leave yourself about 12 inches. So kind of go up about 12 inches, and that's where you're going to start your bow. So I'm just going to pull a fair amount off of the spool, but I'm going to leave it attached. So what you're going to want to do is make your first loop, make it about 3 inches big, not too big. Pinch it together and just twist it. And this is where the wire ribbon comes into place, because I could technically let go and it stays twisted. So that's what you want to do. And then go ahead and make another loop. Make sure that the outside of the ribbon, the pattern side, is always up. And it's okay if your loops are a little squished right now, don't worry about that. Make your second loop a little bit bigger than the first. Twist under. And then we're going to twist it so that the outside ribbon is on top. Same thing, matching loop to this side, to this side. Twist under. Just to like kind of secure it. You really need to hold it with your hands at this point though. Make sure the top of the ribbon is the one facing forward. If not, twist it a little bit until it is. And make yourself another loop. This one also needs to be about 1 inch bigger than the loop before it. Make sure that all of your subsequent loops are bigger than the loops before it. Go ahead and twist that, get that into place so it stays. Twist your ribbon around so that the correct side is facing out. Bring it onto the other side and make another loop. Same width, same length of ribbon about as this one, but about 1 inch larger than the previous level on the side that you're working on. Go ahead and give that a twist. Bring your ribbon over, make another loop, a little bit bigger, like I said, than the previous level. Twist it. Noticing a theme here. Bring it over, loop on the other side, larger than the previous level. So that is about all the loops I'm going to do for this bow. So basically what I'm going to do is come down to about this length, just kind of wherever the last one went, snip it. Now we're free floating. Take your pipe cleaner, and where the center loop is, stick your pipe cleaner through there. Separate out the tail ends of your ribbon and bring it all the way down. So what this is doing is it is going through all of the loops and all of the twists and locking them into place. So twist your pipe cleaner up nice and tight, and now your bow can't come undone. Like you've locked it into place. And this pipe cleaner is great for attaching it to things, attaching it to wreaths, trees, garlands, the presents, whatever you want. That's what this is going to do. Or if you prefer to glue it, just like snip the ends. But I'm going to leave them on so that we can attach them, and then I'm going to just fluff my bow. So really just go in there. This is where the wire helps as well, not just from the twisting, but it'll help you create that shape. So just use your fingers to kind of manipulate out the levels of the bow where you want them, so you get nice, fluffy, puffy bow. So that's what we're going for. Just kind of work it around until you get that. Get your tail ends coming off. Don't forget to like show a little bit of love to the bow tail ends. Like they're a little bit frayed, they're a little bit not super great. So bring them down about the same level. Whoops. Down about the same level. There we go. One of them is vastly shorter than the others. And at this point, you can just trim them. You can make fancy end bows by just angling them the exact same way, like this. Here you go. So now you've got like those nice little angle bows, or you can do like a little V in them. I always think that's cute. That's what I like to do. I don't always do it, but that's what I like. So just go in halfway, flip them around halfway. You're essentially just making a little chevron in there. You can cauterize the ends if you want, but you're just making little V's. And you have an adorable little bow. I'm just gonna hold the pipe cleaner out of the way because you won't see that on the garland. Adorable little bow, number one for presents, garlands, trees, whatever, but this is just kind of a typical fluffy Christmas bow, super easy to make, really fast to make, and you can do it with your hands and minimal equipment. So we're gonna head on to the second bow next. Maybe I'll get some other ribbons so they don't all look the same. Okay, so for our second bow, I have this kind of green see-through ribbon. It's about 1.5 inches, and this is going to be for kind of like a very poofy round bow. So what I'm gonna do is basically whatever size you want the bow, that's how big your circles need to be, your loops. That'll make sense in a second. But if you want a small bow, keep it small. If you want a big bow, keep them big. So I want a bow probably about the width of my hand, which makes it incredibly easy to measure. So I'm going to pull a few bits of ribbon off the spool just to start with. I'm gonna hold it with my thumb and I'm just gonna wind it around my hand. Every time you make a full 360 loop, that equals 1 loop. I'm gonna do a 6 loop bow, so I'm gonna bring it around once. It's 1 loop. 2 loops. 3. So wind a bit more. It's amazing how much ribbon you go through making bows. 4, 5, 6. I don't know if that was 6 or 7 because I lost count of when I was saying the number, so it's either gonna be 6 or 7, but that's okay. Just cut. And then basically you want to make sure your inside ribbon, like the end right there, and your outside end don't end up going crazy. So when you push it together flat in the center, make sure that they're both covered a little bit. Then what you're going to want to do is take your scissors. Don't go straight through. Like you're going to go all the way through, bad things will happen. Start at the center rather and go about 1/3 of the way through up at an angle, if you can see that. That way you don't run the risk of cutting your ribbons in half. So just kind of slowly work your way up. With this ribbon it's easy because about 1/3 of the way through is this kind of metallic thread. So I'm basically just cutting until I reach that. Flip it over, same thing, cut at an angle, so I'm going to flip it up so that my angle is coming down this way. My angle is going to be coming down this way. I'm not going to dovetail it and accidentally cut it in half. But start at the center again and just kind of get that nice little angle about 1/3 of the way through. You don't want to go too much more. And at this point you can either use like floral wire. I have pipe cleaner, so I'm doing that. Just right through the center, so it's a nice tight little, once I can get it all the way through, there we go. Nice tight little center gather right there. Spin your pipe cleaner in the back so your bow's not going anywhere. And like I said, you could use smaller wire for this too, if you prefer, but I have pipe cleaner, so that's what I'm using. And then this is essentially the starter part for your bow. So you just pull it all out and start making it nice and fluffy and kind of arrange it how you want. Because you have those slits in there, you can pull the bows or the loops up through there, like through the center there, and pull some around. But you can pull them through the loop on top of each other and they'll stay, so that's nice. So make sure you get a couple going around the bottom, but then a couple just coming up through the top as well, and you can just kind of pull them through like that, and then they're not necessarily going to wiggle their way back if you kind of block it. And then just use your hands to make sure everything is nice and fluffy and round and exactly how you want it. It's going to do a good job of hiding the pipe cleaner too if you do choose to use a pipe cleaner, because it is big and fluffy. So this is bow number 2, nice and fluffy. This is kind of a traditional like package gift, I would say. Like you just put that on top of a box type thing. So yeah, super easy to make that one. That's bow number 2. We'll get going on number 3. So for this next bow, I am going back to my red checked ribbon because I think bows like this are really pretty when they're red. That's really the only reason I'm doing it. For this one, you actually need 2 parts. That's right, we're getting fancy. So put in 2 fingers, kind of roll a little circle. That's gonna be bigger than you need, but you know, better safe than sorry, and just cut that piece off, save it for later. Then you're gonna want to give yourself basically however big the bow is times, I don't know, 3. I'm just pulling out a pipe cleaner for it. So this one, make sure you give yourself room for a tail and then figure out how big you want the bow to be. So like if it's about that big, that's half, then that's half, There we go. So that's 1. We're just doing a rough measuring right now. 2. Like I said, cut yourself more and trim it later rather than be short. 3 and a little tail. So I want my ribbon cut about there. There we go. This one is just easier if it's off the spool. So that's all I'm doing. So that's about as big as I want my ribbon. So I'm gonna find the center, just kind of match up the edges, bring your finger to center, keep your finger there, that's very important. And then just make a loop, however big you think you want your bow to be. On the other side, go ahead and make a loop that you think is the same, and then just bring it up and measure. If your fingers are in fact in the center, then if you get all wonky, you'll be able to tell. And just kind of measure until they're even, bring it down, and pinch it. So that is the center of your bow. I'm making a nice big bow. Just like that. And then basically what you're gonna do is the same thing over and over. So bring, instead of making rabbit tails, because that's gonna fall apart, so this side came down, bring it across to this side, and then make another loop. And you can make the same size loop as the one before, or you can make it a little bit bigger, bring it down and hold it in the center. So essentially what you're doing is the ribbon goes like this and it's going all the way around to the other side. So you're making circles. You're not making little loops like this, you're making full circles, if that makes sense. Bring the original one from this, the longer piece, to complete the circle all the way around like that. And you're gonna cross them again. So see how they're crossed? Just keep going with the circle. You might want to turn it a little bit so the correct side of the ribbon is on the outside. Bring it around to a full circle again, and the same on the last side. Those are your little tails sticking out. This is your ribbon. I know it looks a little bit, or I'm sorry, this is your bow. It looks a little bit wonky right now. Bear with me, it'll be fine. So hold it really tight in the center, nice and crinkled. Take this loop, loop it around on itself so that the edges are inside of the circle. This is gonna be the center of your bow. So you have a nice little pulled up circle. Take your pipe cleaner, stick it through the circle so that nobody sees the pipe cleaner. It's gonna be hidden, it's a secret pipe cleaner. Put it on the edge, or I'm sorry, dead center, not the edge, the exact opposite of the edge. Bring your pipe cleaner around and twist it super tight. Once your pipe cleaner is twisted, your bow's safe. It's not going anywhere. So now is when you pull your 3 loops out and start making them that beautiful Christmas bow look. If you want, you can kind of leave the edges inside each other just a little bit, and that's gonna make it look like a nice big ribbon, so you can pull them out like this. So it's a big poofy ribbon, or kind of in like this so it looks like a single ribbon. Choice is yours. I tend to pull them out. I think it's looks good, and also if I put a lot of effort into making a multiple loop bow, I kind of want people to see that. So put the center fluff a little bit, this fluff a little bit, and that is your bow. These I find are pretty popular for like garlands or trees rather than presents, but you can definitely make them presents. You can make the loops larger or smaller as you see fit, and then they don't have to be flat either. You can kind of like poof them up with your fingers like that too. So that is bow number 3. Now for the very last bow I want to show you is not necessarily a Christmas bow. You can definitely use it for Christmas, but it's just kind of how to tie a bow in general. I kind of thought this was like common knowledge, but a lot of my friends want me to tie bows for them because I always get them to like look nice and not like be spinning on each other, if that makes sense. If you tie a lot of bows with like shoelaces or ribbons or anything, you know what I'm talking about. But basically I just want to go through like how to prevent your bow from doing that. A lot of people, so I just have a thing of ribbon. This is gonna be way too big, but that's okay. We need something to tie it around, don't we? Let me think about that. Okay, this is incredibly random, and I know that, but I have a jug of soda, so I'm just gonna put that there, and we're gonna tie the ribbon around that, just so you can see what I'm talking about. So you've got your ribbon, you tie it. I have way too much ribbon, but that's okay. This doesn't even need to be wire ribbon. Like I said, this could be laces, this could be ribbon, this could be really anything, but basically just get your knot. Now the normal way to tie a bow is just kind of make the loops, tie it over however you want, but the secret is the way you do that. So you've got this going up and down, you've tied your little bracer knot. Whichever one is down grab that one. That's what you're going to want to make your loop with. Whichever one is naturally above, bring the loop one down. That's going to go over and down because it's already pointing up. So if you try to make that the one that goes down and over, that's where you're getting your spin in. So just bring it up and through. Make sure you twist the bow and the ribbon before you set it completely so that you get that lovely non-spun ribbon look. And there you go. So that is your perfect bow, just like a generic bow in general, but really great for presents too, where everything's nice and flat, it's not spinning, and it comes straight down. So yeah, I just figured I'd throw that one in. It wasn't even part of the originally planned video, but I remember a lot of my friends always ask me, like, how do I make my bows? Because we do them the same way. Like, you make the loop, you put it under, you pull it, but a lot of theirs like start spinning because it's not lined up correctly to begin with. So if you struggle with that, hopefully it's helpful. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will hopefully see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.